Smith has made a mark in so many sectors, from fashion to mattresses and now consulting. So, how does that actually help you to be a better marketer than someone who maybe just does one industry all the time?
You can either be a master of one or jack of one trade. What's worked for me is really bringing new perspective to a category. So I moved from lingerie to a mattress brand, and pre-pandemic it was a very important category.
Did something change because of COVID?
Yeah, so I joined a month before COVID, like February, right? Then I took it up thinking that either it's going to be like my worst decision or maybe I'll do something out of it, right? Because it was such a boring category and I really wanted to see how can great marketing and great brand building really build something. So there was a great brand, great product, great legacy here. But COVID happened and it was unnerving, of course. But then the consumer centricity part of it came in. What really helped is the company had already inculcated the whole understanding of sleep. So the period was right for it. And that's how we transformed it from just a mattress brand to sleep solution company. So for us, it was all about really looking at it from a true perspective of not mattress as a category, but what matters does to human lives.
This podcast is a low money marketing podcast. So, have you ever had to be frugal?
Firstly, I'm Marketing, so I think it comes very naturally to me when I have money to really be as frugal as possible. Of course, Duroflex pandemic, right? As I said, I joined, I was to set up the department, have fresh budgets in the new year, and suddenly it was down to zero, minus maybe, where you're supposed to save, our salaries were getting cut, and we did everything with zero money. That was the best time actually because of your spending, and Google and YouTube was not in a position, gain too much of the spends. So it was actually a real zero budget for the first few months and then as little as possible. In spite of that, we were only watching YouTube, content was the highest. What did you do? So the right content. Pure content and true content, right? We did like yoga, sleep work, music. I mean, things very different from your business, but related to the topic still. So, and all of us as employees pitched in, we started putting content out. So that was very fresh and it was literally with zero budget. So yeah, being frugal, we built brands with very small teams with less budgets and then scale it up.
If someone else were to come in with this problem of, I don't have much money, what would you tell them to prioritize with your experience?
Right? So you can put in fresh content, fresh perspective. Your product is the king and anyone nobody has it. There will be like shares and word of mouth, right? So if you have a great proposition, I think social media is really democratic still. Yeah. And content is the first thing you need. You just need to go and put yourself out there. Somebody will see it and make it viral if it has worth.
Do you have any examples of, what can you do with customer centricity?
I can talk about Duroflex. I entered the brand, as I said, from evolved categories. And when I walked into the stores that the whole category, not only us, that we were present in, right? So I was from a shock. Yeah, it's so bad, the experience. And then, of course, there was a lot of feedback on this is how the category is sold. This is how it's being sold. If I'm buying an Apple phone, iPhone in the best eating stores, if I'm going to a Nike showroom, why will I buy my mattress in this store and pay a premium? We're a premium brand. And that really helped us rethink our store strategy. And actually, we were the first ones to launch state-of-the-art, good-looking, exclusive store formats. Now it's going on. We realized you should know what your strength is as a brand, and marketers should be able to that.
People talk about Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and Boomer, and so on. Are you seeing that kind of segmentation playing out in digital marketing in the way you approach your customer?
So, I have to tell you this. I was at Amante when I turned 25 and suddenly sitting in digital marketing meetings and you're like, over 35 and not even a TG, right? That was the segmentation earlier. It made me so uncomfortable because I think those standard segmentations don't really apply so much anymore. Of course, each generation comes with its own generational behavior and nuances. I'm over 40 now, but I still enjoy being with the youngsters. And yes, Gen Z is very different. There is an overlap.
How is it different?
I think the Gen Z is very, very clear what they want to do. Like millennials still, the older millennials at least, a little bit of a followers. We wanted to really adapt to the Western ways. We wanted to follow what's happening. Gen is not a follower. Like, they will do what they want. They will follow who they want. and they break the norms. And I think it's a generation of extremes. We were probably a generation of average as well. But Gen Z is a generation of extremes. So either they are too sustainable and conscious or give back to the planet, take it down to earth, or they are really one for that. It's a generation of extremes, and that's why it's complicated to cater to the entire generation.
Anything that you've experienced that you'd like to share in terms of the challenges you face because you're a woman or even otherwise?
I think it's great that the conversations are out there today, right? When we were growing in our career, we thought we felt actually it was a little bit of like, oh, maybe I'm a little lost. So you were always in self-talk because we talked about it. As women also, as maybe best friends at work also, you never share it. There have been situations where I was very close to a female colleague and she would never share what and similar. So I think today's generation and now when us, we share our thoughts. Sorts of things have happened to us, right? I have been told way back when I was in my 20s, I was leading a very large role from a responsibility perspective. I was told by my boss that, can you not be so confident, because this man is getting scared. You don't be, yeah, like, so confident, can you calm it down almost? I'm like, okay, and I can never forget that sentence ever. And then joining a lingerie brand with only men around. Oh, wow. There was no woman, like hardly any, of course, except for a few roles. And then I had to put my foot down and say, I will not hire a Indian all only. I mean, you don't want to do things like that. You want to, of course, be gender agnostic, but I had to do that to break that balance, right? So things like that. So that was quite a good few years till we balanced it out for clean and lingerie brand. Hearing feedback from the sales team on what kind of lingerie women should wear. Then that was quite funny. One of them was how women will not wear strapless and padded bras. This is not what Indian women wear. And they were catering to a woman which had moved out of the market. Refusing to understand that's not the customer. You're not in the customer's shoes and the customer's changing. But I think social media, digital insights, right, has made it probably a lot more easier for marketers also to have data points and point to it.
When I was researching you for this conversation, I found that you're a certified image consultant. So what does that actually mean? How does that help you?
Yeah. So I did this when I was in lifestyle. I was a buyer and I was in between fashion, going to Dubai, buying a lot for India when fashion was not happening. I was very excited and passionate and I wanted to do much more than my job. Like, I was just trying more in life. And this course popped up and quite excited about it because what it does is really helps you portray your authentic self. Not only from a dressing point of view, but from your body language, what you really want to be, how you want to protect yourself. And I can make a difference one-on-one, which you can't in a job, right? So that really excited me. And on my weekends, I would do this very actively.
Good part is that I feel AI isn't really in a position to be an initial starter. Give you ideas, but give me conversation to move them along the path.
Absolutely. And the few experience I have had, I have really moved at to how, what do you say, influential I can be. In a job, you're doing it for like the audience you don't see, right? But your individual influence, that is really satisfying. So what teachers get probably what professionals get individually. I felt that and it's really gratifying.
Okay, so we're going to come into the rapid fire round. And so I'm just going to ask questions and you just have to answer as short as possible, as controversial as possible.
Okay.
Okay, so let's roll. Left brain or right brain?
I think a mix of both.
For sure.
Yeah.
Your favorite luxury brand?
I'm very subtle and minimalistic, but somehow I like Bulgari, which is not that. Land up buying a couple of pieces. In the Indian brands, really admire Sabyasachi. I think what he's built is just amazing. A personal favorite that I use, Forest Essentials. So I think the international ones everybody knows, but I think these three brands are standard for me and none of them are really listed, so that's surprising.
Instagram or LinkedIn?
So often I think LinkedIn, I'm kind of bored with the list of posts that everybody's writing. I used to love writing on LinkedIn, but I've just taken a backseat. I think LinkedIn needs to update the format. Even probably I'm becoming a little Gen Z. I have no patience to read those long posts. So Instagram it is. I was travel a lot, so I love posting whatever little content and consuming content on travel. So Instagram is good.
Podcast to live event.
Nothing replaces the live event, millennial in that. But podcasts which are different, not very lengthy. I hope this doesn't turn out to be. But short podcasts which have some meaningful content or something that I'm trying to understand at that point, yes. But for me, live events, so straight.
So in the spirit of keeping things short, we've come to the end of our interview. We were at the Beehive Workspace in Ramaneshri, and thanks to them for allowing us to use the venue as a co-working partner as well.
Thank you for having me, Jessie.